One of the most common things I get asked is how do I improve my head movement? I keep getting caught in sparring. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop using the Rocky defense and instead move like Neo from the Matrix. First, the most important thing you have to understand with head movement is the term head movement is a psyop. You're not actually moving your head. You are not a Bollywood dancer. Head movement is actually dependent on how well can you mobilize and engage your ankles, your knees, your quads, your hips, and your lower and middle back in here. Because when you start turning on and engaging these joints and these muscles that I've just outlined, that is what enables you to take your head off of the line of oncoming strikes. The head actually stays still when you're doing that. You see what I'm saying? The head's still and the rest of my body is what's keeping my head moving. Just a quick point, we're gonna learn head movement in the context of boxing. And later on in the video, I'm gonna show you how to adapt it for Muay Thai and for MMA. Obviously in boxing, you only have two things to worry about, a left and a right hand. In Muay Thai, you've got kicks, you're getting attacked in the leg, you're getting attacked in the body, you've got knees. Also in MMA, you've obviously got takedowns and shots on your legs as well. You've got judo throws, stuff like that, and clinching. So understand, I'm gonna show you the mechanics of head movement in relation to boxing, but at the end, I will show you how to adapt it as well for the other combat sports. Next, understand, good head movement. Anytime you see anyone with amazing head movement, your Muhammad Ali's, your Lurdzillas, anyone with good head movement, Roy Jones Jr., all of those movements are a variation of 4 primary movements. They are the squat, the split, the roll, and the lean back. Everything is a variation of those. These look like this: a squat or a duck, a slip, a roll, or a lean back. That's it. Those are the only ways that you really move your body, i.e. move your head. Then you start adding footwork, like pivots, like split squats, like footwork at the same time and shifts to make it a bit more dynamic and a bit more creative. But it's all still a variation of those movements. Quick question that I'm often asked when I'm teaching this before we move on is, do you keep your hands up when you're doing this or do you keep your hands down? When you keep your hands up, you've obviously got more protection. You've got more mass to block punches as well as evade punches. So using your hands to block is like a secondary defense mechanism as well as your evasion. There's generally 3 defenses, 3 ways of protecting yourself. You've got blocking a shot or a strike here. You've got parrying and diverting and redirecting here. It's Thailand, that's Thailand Zeus, and he's sending me thunderbolts of power. When you keep your hands up, when we're practicing head movement, we've got our evasion, which is getting out of the way of a strike, but also we've got blocking as well. Boom, like this. So the pros of practicing these head movements that I'm about to show you, these patterns with your hands up, is you've got an extra layer of protection, i.e. the blocking mechanism as well as the evasion. The downside to that is it's heavier. You've got more weight you're having to hold up, more muscular activation, which means it's more tiring and it's also more slower. When you keep your hands down, you're obviously a lot quicker because there's less weight, there's less resistance, there's less tension, you can move quicker. But then the downside is obviously you don't have that secondary layer of protection. So if you get hit, you really get hit and you're most likely going to get put to sleep, cuz. So what we're going to do for now is practice with the hands up. Once you get the patterns in that I'm about to show you with the hands up, then we'll drop the hands afterwards. Make sense? Movement number 1 is a duck or a squat. This is so simple. Keeping your hands up, generally a little tip for the hands up. Keep your index finger above your eyebrow. That means you're covering your temple, all the key areas of your face, and your off buttons along the jaw. I'll link a video to how to block punches and that will explain it in more detail. But for now, keep that as a basic position. We're lightning strike. Mad. And chin down. Yeah. Ba, 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 ba. So to make sure you don't get clapped in a fight and you get hit with a thunderbolt to your jaw, hands up here like this. Chin down as if you've got a tennis ball here and you're trying to keep the tennis ball in between your shoulder and your chin, like that, boom. Nice relaxed shoulders as well. A common mistake for keeping your hands up is the shoulders are too tense like this, which is gonna make you slow because you're tense and it's gonna burn you out. So keep the shoulders relaxed, chin down, hands up, nice and cool and calm and collected like that. So a nice upright position like this, look, shoulders, hips, knees, ankles in a nice straight line. Duck down like this as much as you can and then come back up, boom. Like you're in a fucking Zumba class or something, like CrossFit, like you're doing squats, just in a boxing position, like that, boom. Once you get familiar with that, then you can start looking at bringing your heel off the floor and coming more onto your toes. Here, like this. And this is gonna mean you can go way lower, like that. Look at the link in the description where there's a video to show you how to find your basic boxing stance, by the way. The rest of the movements we're gonna show is gonna all come from the same stance. In terms of when you would actually use this in a fight, the more flat you can keep your foot, the more base you can get and the more stability you have to then land a bigger counter shot, because you're creating better potential to explode up with. The downside to that is you're less mobile, so the flatter your feet, the harder it is to explode off of it. when you're on your toes and your heels up, you don't quite have the same stability and power to explode up with because there's less contact pushing up the floor, so less force generation, but you're more mobile and you can stay more agile, which in the context of fighting is important. You want to be able to change direction quickly. So I'm saying you practice both so that you can feel where your mobility is for your ankle. You can feel that power of keeping a flat foot, but also you want to practice what it's like being on your toes and squatting at the same time. So practice those two variations. And when you're actually fighting, when you're sparring, when you're in combat, there's going to be a trade-off. Sometimes you're going to be nice and flat to generate massive power. Sometimes you're going to be on your toe. And by the way, in a second after I've demonstrated the other movements, I'm going to give you a circuit to do of how to program this, how many reps to do, how many sets to do. So keep watching. So back into your stance, same hand position as the squat. What we're going to do here is to slip a punch, which looks like this. All we're going to do is throw our shoulder on one side towards the knee of the other, whilst internally rotating over that same side hip. So I'm rotating my hip like this as my shoulder comes forward. Key detail, again, strong ankle, strong knee, and strong quads now, and a strong glute on the side that I'm slipping towards, because I'm taking most of my weight from my back foot. If I'm slipping forward, I'm going from like 60% on the back foot to like 80% on the front foot. So I need a nice strong pillar, a nice strong axis on this supporting side. Hands up, shoulder towards that knee, and slip forward. A really key, a big mistake that beginners make is they slip to the side. Generally, at the start, when you learn this, you want to slip at a 45-degree angle. So if this is a 90-degree angle here, like that, I want to intersect that at 45 degrees. So I want to slip forward like this. Boom, there. Boom, back foot is slightly coming up off the floor. Here like this. Chin stays in the same position, hands stay up, and I'm catching all my weight on the glute, the quad, the knee, and the ankle of that slipping side, here like that. Boom, and there's a slight little bend in my lower back, very, very slight. You see here, boom. On the other side, same principles, you just mirror it. So I'm going from a lot of, like most of my weight on the front foot now, and I'm taking it more onto the back foot. But again, I'm going forward. It's slightly harder when you slip towards your back foot side, but the same principle. Most of my weight shifts onto this leg, and my heel is up, my quad's activated. You can see the muscles in my quad turning on, where most of my weight, look, goes onto that back foot slightly here like this. Boom, and I'm still trying to come forward. You're not gonna come forward quite as much, but you're still coming forward here like this. Boom, 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 boom. Well, 45 degrees one way, then the other. Welcome to Thailand in the rainy season. I don't. Oh, it's his first day riding a bike. This is Joe's first day riding a bike, and he's having to learn in a monsoon. 17-year-old Joe's like, yo, I've never ridden a bike, will I be safe? I was like, it'll be fine. Yeah, literally the deep end. For the roll, I'm starting off with a slip, but then I'm adding a squat like this. And then all I do is just let my natural body position return. Here, like that. So look, slip 45 degrees, just like we looked at. Add the squat from exercise number 1. Now, because my weight is loaded onto this leg, just like with the slip, in order for me to return back to the center, I have to complete the U, like a U shape, like the movement by pushing off of this leg and just returning back to the middle. Like that, very, very simple. Like I'm drawing the letter U. So I go slip to the side, that's the top of the U, like I'm drawing it here. Squat, that's the bottom bit of the U. Complete the roll by pushing off of this loaded leg, that's the little curve of the U here. And then by simply returning upwards, that's the other bit of the U. Do you see what I mean? Like that. What? Just like this, same on the other side. Slip forward, just like we looked at. Squat down, there's the U, there's the downward part of the U. Return with the bottom part of the U, and then stand back up again. Here, here. That's the variation with the toe up, like this. Also, we'll look at the with the heel down. So this is gonna help with our ankle flexibility as well. Here, boom, 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 boom. So you're gonna play around with those two variations. Lastly, and most simply, you've got to lean back. All this is basically shifting your weight from the front foot to the back foot at a ratio of about, you're putting your weight about 70% on the back, 30% on the front, roughly. Looks like this. There. That's phase number one. It's shifting my center of mass, which means where most of my weight is, i.e. my chest, from this fairly balanced position of like 50-50, 60-40, which is generally where you're going to be in a fight. And I'm just shifting it backwards to the point where most of my weight is on the back foot. I say 70%, could be up to like 90%, depending on how much you need to shift back, depending on how big their punch is. Also in Muay Thai, when you want to use this for kicks, you really need to get out of the way. So I'm here, I shift from the front to the back like that. That's movement number one. So again, this is an ankle and a quad exercise. My ankles are shifting and my quads is taking the weight from the front to the back. Look here, you see like this? Now, point number two about the lean back is a little flex in my hip and my lower back in here. I'm gonna simply flex backwards like this through that lumbar portion of my spine here with that shift that I just mentioned. So look, I shift and I flex at the same time. Boom, like this. So my head is here. Look how much I can get out of the way by shifting and leaning back. I have all this space all of a sudden. And then because I've got that good ankle mobility and I'm carrying my weight balance, I just simply return here, boom, like that. But generally you're gonna drop the front hand. So if I'm here, look, my back hand stays up for extra protection there for the block. My front hand stays back for two reasons. One, to counterbalance the movement. So as my weight goes back, I keep a bit of my weight via my limb here to create some balance. Weight here, that keeps me balanced, like that. Also, it just gets out of the way so that I can see the attack coming, and I use my eyes to make sure I watch his leg, his fist, whatever he's hitting me with. I watch it come past me, and then I bring it back up again like this, here. Really important you have good, strong ankles. I'm gonna show you some mobility exercise in a minute. Walk, just like that.
Here's how you put all the movements together in one drill you can do. You just go slip, slip, roll, roll, lean back. That's all the movements you got to do. Slip, slip, roll, roll, lean back. And do them in both directions. So you're getting used to starting left and starting right. This is just the same thing from the side angle. Also, if you're feeling brave, do it from the southpaw stance as well. Again, both directions. So you become able to move your head in any direction and avoid any punch. And you can then practice with your hands down as well.
Use slips to avoid straight punches and rolls to avoid hook and round punches. You can also use slips to avoid uppercuts and use lean backs to avoid uppercuts as well.
You can practice these patterns with a partner where you get them to jab, jab, hook, hook you, and you can get them to add an uppercut at the end, which I forgot to do here, but you just slip, slip, roll, roll, lean back.
Let's just look at a couple of mobility and strength and conditioning exercises we can do to improve this lower half of our body and the back, which, as you've just understood and learned, is the foundation of good head movement. Ankles, knees, quads, hips, lower back. So exercise number one, I call these knee circles. All you're gonna do is go in a split stance like this. Using your front foot, all I want you to do for the first part of this exercise is literally lean forward, and you're gonna look down over your knee. You're gonna look at your knee and bring it over your toes until your knee covers your whole toes. So from the side, look, my knee is over my ankle, nice and straight. I look at my knee and I bring it over my toe as much as I can, as far as I can. Little stretch through the calf here, you'll see the activation there. And then just simply bring it back. Really, really simple. This is an exercise in sensitivity, not toughness. You haven't got to push yourself. All you're gonna do is feel your foot gripping the floor, supinating into the floor and pronating into the floor. Pronating, supinating like this. Back, forward, and go a little bit past that straight line when you come back. Just go 10 times, look, like 1, 2, 3, all the way 10 times. Once you've done that, go straight into the circles. Once you've done your 10 reps, we're gonna now add a circle. Same principle, I'm looking at my knee and using that as a reference point. I'm gonna circle it past my little toe, all the way through my other toes, and then outside my big toe and bring it back. Here's the trick though, here's the key. You're not gonna let your foot come off the floor. Don't let your toes come off the floor. Don't let your fascia come off the floor. Keep the foot stable and make the circle as large as you can. What this is doing is improving the stability through my glute here, which we talked about as important for head movement, and also the ankle mobility, which is crucial for head movement. You ever notice a lot of things in boxing are opposite? People think about head movement, actually it's foot mobility. Interesting that, right? Buy low, sell high, and vice versa. So for this, we're gonna go 10 one way, then 10 the other. So 1, 2, 3, making sure my glute is firing the whole time, my quads are on. all the way to 10, then go back the other way. 1, 2, 3. Look, my toes are moving slightly, but they're not coming off the floor. I'm keeping connection to the floor. Foot-floor connection is critical for fighting. Boom, like that. And then obviously do the other side as well. Okay, next one, I call these sit down and rocks. All you're gonna do, it looks like this, demonstration. Squat, keeping my heels flat the whole time. Lean forward like this, keeping my toes active. Lean back as far as I can go, and then come back into that squat position, and then stand up. This might be really difficult for you if you've got knee problems and foot problems. That's fine, hold on to something if you need to. Look, so if you need to use the side, use the ring. I sit down as much as I can, using the ring to support myself if I need to. It's an exercise in self-awareness as well. You don't need to push yourself. If you're not a pro fighter and you just want to get a bit more mobile and in touch with your body, there's no pressure here. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. So I squat down like that. As soon as I reach my limit, I'm then gonna gently move forward, keeping my toes active until my knees hit the floor. Lean back as far as I can go. Then if you need to use the side, use the side. Take some pressure off your feet. Come back into that deep squat, stand up again. Then to progress it, once you get good, all the way down, throw it forward, back again, like that. Exercise number 3 is side bends. The reason these are so important, I want you to understand the importance of your quadratus lumborum, which is called your QL muscle. I'll put a picture over the top. It looks like this. It's in here. They're 2 little triangle muscles that connect about up to here on your spine onto the top of your pelvic bowl, like that. What these muscles do is they pull you from side to side like this, as well as your obliques. So you've got your QL and you've got your external and internal obliques on the side of you. These muscles are what enable you to pull your body like that. This is what made Mike Tyson's head movement so good. He was so strong in his QL and his obliques like that. Watch the exercise where he's flipping that speed bag and he's going side to side like this. That's what we're going to practice now. We're going to do square position like this, hands to your side. You're going to imagine you've got strings from your fingers into the floor and you're getting pulled like that. And the whole time you're doing this, keep your body straight. Ear, shoulder, hip, knee, ankle in a dead straight line, and go to the side as much as you can, getting pulled down with nice relaxed straight arms. You're going to do 10 each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So that's 20 in total. 1, 2, 3, like that. To progress it, simply speed up, but don't lose your shape. If you're having to do it, look, this is how fast I can do it. I start off nice and slow, and then eventually start picking it up like this. But look, I'm not losing my shape. I'm not bending. I'm not losing my foot position. Everything's nice and balanced, and I just simply use these muscles with more intensity. To progress that, we're going to add it into a split squat. This makes it a bit more combative. So go in your boxing stance, literally go into a squat position. The ankle can come up for this. Here, hands up, and all you're going to do is add the split squat, is add the side bends to this position. 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the way up to 20. And again, I keep in the same position the whole time. I'm not rocking forward. I'm not going side to side. My feet are in the same position. And it's all through these muscles that I just showed you, using a nice strong core like that. But next exercise is for splits. These are very basic. They're called knee touches. All you're going to do is go into your boxing position, and you're going to reach forward and touch your knee with your rear hand, like that. By virtue of me touching my knee, look at my head. It moves off the center line. And a really important point for slipping, you only need to move your head the width of a fist. Another beginner mistake for slipping is they try and move too much because you're too scared of the punch. A really good slip will graze the ear. Watch like Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez, like Jose Aldo and Conor McGregor, like guys with good head movement and timing and distance awareness, it will gradually touch you like this. You want the punch to be as close to you as possible without it actually hurting you. That's the indicator of a good slip. So it's only that width that I'm moving. So backhand touches my front knee, and what's important, I'm not bending. I'm not bending at the waist. You get that? Look, here, forward. My shoulder and my hand is what rotates across. I twist one side of my body to connect with the other half. And by virtue of me doing that and keeping everything balanced, my head naturally comes off of the line of that punch. One side, I'm gonna go 2 sides. So front hand to back foot now. Same exact principle again. Bring my weight from the front to the back. Here, here, again, go to 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you look at it from the side, a very gentle squat. 1,
2. It's like split squats. All the way to 20, 10 each side like that. Boom. Keeping my head still. Again, no Bollywood shit out here. Head is still, chin is tucked. 1, 2, 3, like that. Lastly, let's look at activating that spine. I call this Qigong twist. So it's an exercise from Tai Chi. All you're gonna do is reach forward with one hand, going up like that. The other hand is going up as well. As your feet are facing forward, underneath your hips, your knees, your shoulders, nice straight line like this. And twist until you 180 both hands, like that. So front replaces back, back replaces front. The whole time I'm looking forward, like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, like this. And you're gonna notice you get a nice twist, a nice stretch through this part of the spine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to, let's say, 10 reps there. Why do we do that? Because that's what enables you to turn your shoulders and get your head up the center line. Canelo Alvarez is a really good example of this. Like these movements he does here is a high level of activation of rotation through that spine like that, you see? To program this and add it into a workout so you can actually practice, let's go for 10 or 20 reps, depending on how competent you feel for them. And just do like 2 to 3 sets of each one before you get on with your session. So if head movement is a priority in your life right now, when you're working out, when you're warming up at the gym, when you're at your nan's funeral, when you're waiting in line for your shopping, whatever, any context you're doing, just bang out 10 reps of each of these exercises. You get what I'm saying? Just add them into your daily life. And by virtue of you creating these patterns, you're going to start naturally mobilizing these joints and getting your head used to getting carried by the rest of your body, i.e. movement, i.e. you're developing good head movement. So it shouldn't take long is my point. To get good head movement, it doesn't take long. Here is a critical mindset hack, really important this. Do not consider head movement as defense. It's so weak, it's just irritating. Like the idea that it's like, oh, let me get my head out the way, oh, I don't want to get punched. That. Think of Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson, who had great head movement, was he getting out of the way of a punch because he was scared of getting hit and he didn't want to get hurt? Or was he getting his head out of the way so that he could load up his own attack? When Mike Tyson slipped and did this, was he worried about a puncher going, don't hurt me? Or was Mike Tyson going like this so that he could create kinetic potential to literally separate a man's jaw from his head, from his shoulders? When he was slipping like that, it wasn't that he was slipping for defense, it's that he was slipping to set up a vicious attack. Here, boom, like this. Here, boom, like that. So yeah, technically it is you're protecting yourself, but reframe it in your brain. When you're fighting someone, think, how can I set myself up to hit him? How can I get out the way of a punch and then immediately counter? You want to be apex minded. You don't want to be prey minded. Be the predator, not the prey. So think of slipping. That's why I said go 45 earlier on. You want to go 45 and attack the guy like that to hit him back. 45 to go forward into a punch. Slip to punch. Don't slip to get out of the way. Slip to get an opportunity to smash someone. Who the f is this guy for trying to hurt you? Do you get what I mean? That's the way you want to think. It's like, you're trying to hit me. You. There's no way you're going to hit me. I'm going to hit you back. That's the way you want to think about slipping and head movement, rolling, ducking. It's an opportunity for you to hurt someone. Think of a shark, apex predator. When a shark moves, does a shark have defensive movements? Could you imagine a shark going, no, I need to swim away? Everything a shark does, even when it's retreating to go down, it's to then come back up and attack something. So think of the apex predators. They don't really have defensive movements. They just have efficient movements to overcome. Right, so I said I'd show you how to adapt these for when you're getting kicked, when you're getting taken down, when you're getting kneed in Muay Thai and MMA. Like I just said, I showed you there, boxing, you can afford to be heavy in your legs because your legs aren't getting attacked. MMA and Muay Thai, you are. Here's the thing, the mechanics stay the same. The biomechanical principles of head movement are the same, whether it's boxing or whether it's MMA, like whatever it is. So what you've got to pay attention to, you don't really change the technique, you just change your awareness and the context of how you implement the technique and what's coming after that, which you can only do when you understand the different ranges of fighting and what your opponent has the option to do to you. So if I'm boxing, I know I can go down here and then roll like that. If I'm doing Muay Thai and I go here, I'm going to get my nose bone put into my prefrontal cortex. The guy's going to knee my nose through my brain and kill me. So I can't do that. Unless when I do it, I see that knee coming or I predict it's coming and then I immediately get out of the way of it into like my check or into my step back like that. So if we're just doing boxing, for example, and Seb throws a big rear hook at me, I can do that all day long. That's not a problem for me. If Seb has the option to knee me and I come here like that, it's no good. So I need to see what he's likely to do next based on what he's been doing in the fight up till now, based on the range that he's at. I'm not really going to slip here because I'm just so in the way of his knees. So what I might do is fake it, he goes to knee me, and then I step back. And now he's off balance and I can counter him. So it's about knowing what they're going to do. And so when we're doing Muay Thai and we've got these other different attacks, I need to think about going from down to up a lot quicker than I would in boxing. In boxing, I can afford to stay down here a little bit. Again, look at Mike Tyson, spent a lot of his career in this range here. Mexicans in a pocket like that. In Muay Thai, I want to bring my center of mass from down to up quickly because, and this is moving on to kicks now, if I'm low like this, give me a low kick, how can I defend that if my weight is on the leg? I can't, right? However, when I take my center of mass from down to up, now I can pick my leg up so that when he goes to kick me, go again, when he goes to kick me, I've got an ability to protect that. So even if I'm looking at slipping like this, I need to then straight away be able to go from down to up and lift this leg up like that. Even with the slips, here, back to there, here, back to here. So you've got to be light on your feet as much as you are heavy. You have to get used to shifting from heaviness here for your head movement back to lightness here like this for your kicks and your protection against his attacks. For MMA, if he's going to try and take me down, for example, more importantly than my own weight distribution is actually the range that he's at. And I need to use lateral footwork as well, because for a takedown to happen, he needs to get close enough to be able to grab my legs. If I'm constantly moving, it's why MMA is so much more dynamic. If I'm constantly circling and moving back, move to the side like this, it's way harder for him to attack my legs. And if I'm creating distance, he has to try and close that distance with his own attacks, which gives me the chance to hit him. So it's more the fact that if he now wants to throw a big overhand, I can still roll, but look what I'm doing straight away. I'm coming back out again. Throw that again, boom, and I'm coming back out. Go again, boom, and I'm coming here. It's like I have to stay more dynamic than I would in boxing because there's follow-up attacks that are different ranges than boxing. So to summarize, when you're applying this to Muay Thai, to MMA and stuff, the techniques, you can still do them. You can still throw your slips, even in Muay Thai. Look, if you throw your 1-2 at me, boom, boom, throw your kick, whatever kick you want, boom, here, go again, 1-2, here, boom, kick, boom. Like, I'm using these same principles, but I'm just aware that I need to return to a position where I can implement my other strategies, like my blocks, my catches, stepping back, framing away from the shot, from the leg kicks. So the mechanics stay the same, but the context is what changes. So when you're drilling this for MMA and Muay Thai, you need to be aware that you've also got to do this other stuff as well. Teaks, checks, step backs. You see what I'm saying? Good examples of people with amazing head movement, where they're moving their head still, but with a higher center of gravity because they need to use their legs and they need to fight from a long range. Look up Jockey Gym, all the fighters from Jockey Gym in the golden era. Sanchai, Lurdzilla, Somlak, Samat Payakarun. Look up Silipatai. Muhammad Ali in boxing was a great example. A lot of Muhammad Ali's movement, look, his feet were light. He could have been a kickboxer if he wanted to, but his head movement was up like this. Hands down, boom, even his hands are up like that. He had a high center of gravity whilst moving his head. And the head movement he used was still the same mechanics I've showed you. Look, he was on his toes, high center of gravity, slip, slip, can still roll. Conversely, Joe Frazier, same exact principles, same exact biomechanics, slip, slip, roll, but he was just a lot lower when he did it. You see what I'm saying? So the movements are the same, it's just the context that changes. Anyway, that's the head movement masterclass. Comment any questions, any issues you've got. Obviously subscribe. Obviously join Don Dojo because I've got this level of detail on every question you could possibly have for fighting. If you haven't joined it already, it's $44 a month. It costs absolutely nothing versus the value you get. You should be involved if you're serious about fighting. You get me?